Welcome to our web exclusive. I'm Mike Montecalvo along with Eyewitness News Analyst Lt. General Reginald Centracchio. We are taping this show on Veterans Day, so we acknowledge all the veterans out there, past and present, and for their service, and of course, you too, General. Now, how many years were you in the military?
It seems like 1,000, but
No,
it's
it doesn't.
48 years.
What made you enlist?
True story. I was dating this girl in high school. We broke up in our junior year. She said, "You should go in the military to mature a little." I did.
Is that the only thing you listened to her on?
40 years later, I called and said, "Can I get out now?" She said, "Yeah, I can get out."
You know, really, when you think about it, the way we view veterans and Veterans Day has changed. Think about Vietnam War and what happened then, and then just the 143rd, I think, came back a couple of weeks ago.
Just recently, about last week.
Yeah.
You know, Veterans Day had its genesis, obviously, from the Armistice Day, 11th day, 11th hour, 11th month. And then it migrated into something we refer to today as Veterans Day. And consequently, through the years, we recognize veterans for all wars. And most recently, obviously, we still have troops that are going and coming home, and they become veterans. So I think the genesis versus what we see today is a little bit different, but in essence the same, because we honor veterans.
Is the pressure on them more today than it was years ago?
I think the pressure is more on the general public to recognize the purpose of Veterans Day. Veterans will do what they do anyway. I mean, they go to war, they come home, and they serve the country. There's no incumbency upon them to set any particular reason that they should be called a veteran, other than to serve the country and do it well.
You know, we have maybe 100 soldiers that are deployed right now in the Middle East and across the seas, but of course thousands are deployed in Afghanistan, around Afghanistan, Iraq. You see that changing with the new administration? Well,
I think we'll see a more definitive purpose as to why we're there to begin with. I think it was very undiscerned as to why we had troops. He referred to them as trainers, as advisors, and so on and so forth. But the bottom line is they're still in the combat zone, and they still are killed. So I think what you're going to see with this administration is there'll be a more definitive reason as to why we're there, with an end state and a specific mission, obviously as part of a larger coalition.
And getting allies to help out?
As part of the larger coalition, and making sure that they're participating more than they are now.
I know you attended a lot of events over the last, especially today, but over the last week. And obviously Donald Trump became president on Tuesday. What are veterans saying, especially about the protests that are going on?
You know, they really don't have any opinion on who's the president. They recognize this was a legitimate election. What they are disappointed in and voiced some concern today, as I talked to several of them, was the result of the election now has become a somewhat of a justifiable protest that's resulting in a riot. They didn't subscribe to joining the military to give anybody that right. They gave them the right to protest, which is a healthy part of who we are as a democracy. What they didn't give them the right to do is to turn a peaceful protest into a riot where you hurt people and you burn buildings down. So they're disappointed with that part of what they're seeing today.
All right, so it's a fluid situation. Since we're taping this on Friday, we're hearing a lot of names for different positions: Defense Secretary, Secretary of State, Director of the FBI, Homeland Security. What would you like the administration to do going forward with, let's say, those types of appointments?
I think they need to put individuals in the positions, such as the Secretary of State. I've heard the name of Giuliani. He has to understand exactly what Secretary of State does, and to make sure that the rest of the world understands who we are and what part we play, and not be the overall person to come up with money to accommodate whatever policies are out there. So I think there's a lot of work to be done about who we are and reestablishing where we are in the world, and we are in fact a world leader.
John Kerry was kind of visible, more visible than usual for Secretary of State, wasn't
I think he did a good job, and he continues to do a good job as we see at the end of his administration coming about. I think he was able to bring people to the table and get things actually accomplished. And I think the next Secretary of State will have that as a somewhat of a base to go ahead and establish the same kind of understanding as to why we have an ability to go out to the rest of the world and try to get them to be part of an overall plan.
All right, General, it's always great to have you here. Thank you very much for your service, and thanks for watching.
Thank you.